My husband Mike and I came to St. Max around 2012 with our 4 boys. Now, we're both cradle Catholics and have always considered ourselves practicing, but if I'm honest, we had 4 kids in 5 years, and skipping Mass got really easy. It was hard to get there, it was hard to be there, and honestly, sometimes just too overwhelming to even think about. Then one day, our oldest was about 5, we realized he'd remember not going, and that flash of awareness that our kids were old enough not to just remember what we did do, but what we didn't do, that changed things. And from that moment on, we started moving in the right direction. We've been at Mass every week since. So my advice would be, don't wait. Today is better than tomorrow when it comes to making your family's faith a priority. Now, I hadn't thought much about what discipleship looked like in a family, but so much of parenting as a disciple is forming our kids. I didn't think in terms of discipleship exactly. I knew I just wanted our faith to be so rooted in our daily lives that my kids would feel off balance without it. I wanted it to feel natural. So we did little things. We prayed before meals, even in public. We went to Mass weekly. We went to confession regularly. We pray to St. Anthony when something's lost. And I even bless them before they leave the house with just a simple sign of the cross with my thumb, and God guide him and keep him safe. I was never drawn to religious art, but I made a point to find a few pieces that fit our style. These little visual reminders sprinkled through our home. And my favorite's this wooden sign I found on Etsy that says in this really pretty script, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord," from Joshua 24, verse 15. Now, it's in our entryway, and I really hesitated because that is a bold statement at your front door, but it's right there when we walk in. And those small, intentional choices have become part of it. Now, if we skip something, it feels off, and that's what I hope for. We've also taken a yes, but approach to teaching faith. As Catholics, there are some rules and obligations that aren't always fun. And let's be honest, sometimes they can feel like a burden. So we say, yes, we are going to Mass on Ash Wednesday, but you can skip school to go if you'd rather. Yes, we're going to confession again, but we're getting donuts after to celebrate our forgiveness. Yes, we're going to Mass on vacation and during your tournament weekend, but we will use masstimes.org to find one that works. Because yes, in the moment, it may be hard, but we're rewarded when we follow what he's laid out for us and when we're faithful to him. Now, as our boys got older, it was really important that their faith became their own, not just something they mimicked from us. And one way we encouraged that was by having them take ownership. We told them they had to serve the church somehow, but they could pick how. Be an altar server, greet before Mass, decorate for Christmas, help with the festival. There were options, and some not so optional ones, let's be honest. But that ownership gave them pride, and it made church feel like theirs and not just ours. And when possible, we really helped our kids find friends at church. Nothing makes going to Mass or adoration or setting up festival booths better than doing it with people they really loved being around. So much of being a disciple as a parent feels like teaching and guiding, but a huge part for us is just living our own faith. Mike and I make it a point to nurture our spiritual lives too. I'm part of the moms group here at church and the small Bible study, and both have been lifelines in spiritual dry spells or hard seasons. They keep me grounded and remind me what matters. And making a space for your own personal growth not only strengthens you, but it models what it looks like to be a Catholic adult. I remember Father Ricardo saying his mom would leave her Bible open on the table after reading it, and he'd have to move it to sit down. And that quiet, visible presence, that was a lesson all its own. And in the same vein, I let my kids see me pray, and I don't hide it. And I pray for them constantly. Parenting's full of worry and heartbreak, and we really can't handle it all on our own. And even with all of this, I realized I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to fall off course and fumble my way through things. We all do. And my kids would probably hear some of this and laugh and say, "When did you do that exactly?" But when you mess up, start again. Do it imperfectly if you have to. I used to think if I couldn't do something perfectly right now, I shouldn't do it now. And that's how our Blessed Epiphany chalk sat on the table from January until October. I was waiting for this perfect moment when everyone was home and we had time. And eventually I gave up. I grabbed whoever was around and I did it right then. And I figured that's who God wanted to be there. It's also why we never started a family prayer time. And that's one of my regrets. I could never find that perfect time when everyone was home or awake or not cranky. I wish I had just said, "Who's ever here right now at 8 o'clock, get to the living room. It's prayer time." I heard someone say one time that anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. So just do it. Don't get stuck on doing it perfectly. Discipleship in everyday life doesn't follow a single blueprint. It's not about doing it the right way. It's about intentionally keeping Christ at the center over and over and over again through all of life's distractions.